All right, third graders, we are going to be talking about prefixes this week. And maybe you remember prefixes from second grade, but we're definitely going to review and dig a little bit deeper. So as an introduction, what is a prefix? Well, a prefix is a word part added to the beginning of a base word to change the meaning of the word. So sometimes we call it a base word, sometimes we call it a root word. The base word and root word mean the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you some examples. Now, there are a ton of prefixes you can add to words that change the meaning. Here are just a couple examples. So if you add over to the beginning of a word, it means you've added too much or it's an excessive amount. Like overpriced. So if something's overpriced, it is priced too high, too much, and you probably don't want to buy it. Okay? And then we have R-E. That means to do something again. So reuse, like why don't you reuse that carton of milk in a craft maybe, reduce, recycle, right? Redo, maybe if I ask you to redo a homework assignment, it means you need to do it again. Reread, if I ask you to back up and reread, it means you need to read it again. Okay, then we have pre is before. Well, where do you go before you come to school, come to kindergarten? Maybe you went to preschool, right? If you are baking with mom and dad and they say, hey, will you preheat the oven? That means they're asking you to heat it up before the food goes in, okay? So before. Un, if we add that to the beginning of a word, it means not. So it's changing the word to its opposite. So if you are not happy, you might say, I am unhappy. If something is, you can't believe it, you'd say unbelievable. It is not believable. Okay? EX means you're out of. You're out of something. So if you're an ex-member of a group, means you're not a member anymore. My third graders last year with me made this poster and someone said ex-boyfriend, right? It means they're not your boyfriend anymore. Dis, D-I-S, is just like un. It means no or not. So dishonest, you're not honest. Dislike, you don't like something, okay? So those are just a couple examples of prefixes that help us get started. I'm going to read a story to you with a lot of prefixes in it, and then I'm going to show you a couple and you think of the meaning. Some of them I already told you, some of them you'll see in the book, and then some of them you can tell me on your own based on what I just taught you. So this book is called Pre and Re, Miss and Dis. What is a prefix? A prefix is a word part added to the beginning of a word or a root word or a base word to change its meaning. Prefixes are word parts that we added onto a word. They're right at the beginning, just like pregame or unheard. These word parts change the meaning of the word to which they're added. Examples might be underclothes, revisit, or unpadded. The root words are the main words, as in padded, visit, or close. The prefixes are the letters that we see in front of those. So terrestrial is the root word. When we add extra in front of it, extraterrestrial, it changes the meaning of the word. Several prefixes will help to show an antonym. Antonym means opposite, right? So like un and dis. Happy, unhappy. Im and un and non and ill and dis are some of them. There's a lot of prefixes that mean the opposite, change the meaning. So it's important to think before you add a prefix, which one of those to add. These prefixes show opposite, like disagree or unwell. impossible, illogical, defrost, untie, misspell. So they all mean the opposite. So it means you don't agree, you are not feeling well, it is not possible, it is not logical, you are unfrosting it. Defrost means that you're making it not frozen anymore. You are not tying it. You are spelling it wrong. You didn't spell it right. Okay, so when you're thinking of the opposite of a word, if I said diswell, that doesn't sound right. But unwell, that sounds right. That's a word. So you need to make sure we focus in, which we're going to on these ones, so we can determine which one to add when we want to change the word to the opposite. Anti means against, like anti-theft and anti-freeze. The first part means opposing. Are you catching on to these? Other times a prefix serves to give a number clue, like by before a root word, which hints that there are two. Binoculars have two glass lenses. Bicycles have two wheels. Bilingual folks, two languages to tell us how they feel. So if you're bilingual,
Miss Van Norm to the office.
if you're bilingual, you speak two languages. Pre before a root word will most often mean before, like prehistoric, preschool, preheat. Ooh, like preheat and prepayment, preschool, and many more. RE as a prefix often means to do again, as in retype, recalculate, repaint, rebuild, resend. So you have to go do all those things again. Multi is a prefix. It means the same as many, like multicolor, multiplex. Can you come up with any? So if it's a multicolored, it means that there are many colors to it, right? So multi means many. Trans will sometimes mean across. It often hints at movement. Like transatlantic means you go over or you go across the Atlantic Ocean. He transferred to a transatlantic school and showed improvement. So transferred means he moved. Transatlantic means he went across the Atlantic Ocean. Knowing lots of prefixes can help you to decode so many words it might just cause your brain to overload. Look at their brains. So what is a prefix? Do you know? And there's a list of a lot of the ones that we saw in the book. Okay, so I want you to think, in some of these I said already. I'm going to show you a couple words, and just in your brain, I want you to think of what they might mean. So first we have reread, and I underlined the root word, or remember we can call it the base word or the root word, is read. And we added re. So what does this word mean now? Hopefully you said or you thought to read again, right? Because we know re means to do again. All right, what about disagree? Agree is our root word. If you disagree, it means you do not agree, right? You do not agree. Impossible. Well, if something is possible, it means that you can do it, right? So possible is our root word. Impossible changes the meaning to show that it is not possible. It means it cannot happen. Impossible. Last one. Preheat. Our root word is heat. If you preheat, what are you doing? Hopefully you're thinking you are heating beforehand. Okay, so maybe before you cook, you preheat the oven. So it's nice and warm when you put your cookies in or whatever you're making. All right, we're gonna continue to work on prefixes this week, and next week we'll be talking about suffixes. So maybe you can start thinking ahead to what those are. All right, have a good one.